over on the left-hand side, we have the wonderful Net Neutrality. First pick, first ban, and versus the Attic Wolves. There.
So, I mean, anything can happen in these community tournaments. There's a lot of pocket picks I'm expecting to see come out as well. What do you want to see the normal like Muriel first pick, first ban, whatever like prioritization here, or
we see a Sevrog actually. Yeah, I would like to see a Muriel or Wraith like we've normally been seeing. Wraith is super powerful, but I think with the huge brackets of elos that are in the thing, they can play around different play around different heroes. So like you said earlier, like pocket picks and stuff like that. But we see a pretty systematic ban of Sevrog and Wraith. So I'm expecting Neutrality to pick up Rampage, exactly how they are now. And then Attic Wolves will respond with probably a Quang pick or a Zinx lock. Could potentially lock the Fae for a mid laner. Just basically prioritizing really strong meta picks right now. So of course we see Rampage go over to Net Neutrality, and Attic Wolves has 2 picks. So let's see what they pick. Let's see
what about
pick up the solo laner.
Fae Muriel's my guess.
Fae Muriel?
Fae Muriel.
Yeah, the mid laner, the support, or the solo.
1 out of 2 so far. Let's see if I can get 2 out too. I mean, either Fae Muriel or Muriel Grux would be my guess here. Just because Grux with that smash and grab is so strong.
Yeah.
And Quang is a very, very solid solo laner, but at the same time, I think getting a better jungle when you're going against a Rampage or one that can perform is a little bit higher priority. Or at least for me. I don't know about you yourself, because I feel like there are a few different solos that could be interchangeable over there.
I mean, the
Steel,
Muriel,
you can pick a Steel into the Quang.
Yeah, there it is. Like the support mid laner combo. We potentially could be seeing Muriel solo lane. That has been a thing that we've talked about and done in the past. So yeah.
And for you guys wondering, this is the community event. These are a bunch of solo and duo queue teams that were put together with average elos and forced to play, pitting them against each other. We have the Rev coming out as well.
You make it sound like it's like
it's
a
blood
slave
sport.
trade.
It's
They're
a blood
not
sport.
Forced to play. They are willingly volunteering to play
at gunpoint. But we have Net Neutrality over here on the left and Attic Wolves on the right. These are names that they've come up with themselves. No affiliation to any professional team. But Revenant coming out, no real shock there.
Yeah, they pick up Revenant, Snowbally champion. I've discussed him again, time and time again. Once he gets Deathcrawler online at 13 agility points, he essentially becomes online. He comes online a lot quicker than any other carry. He doesn't have a lot of utility, but he has CC. And he has an obscene amount of damage, and his early game laning is pretty, it's phenomenal, even though his lack of mobility. But his snowballing mechanic is the biggest thing that they want to focus on. Gideon, huge team fighting ultimate over for Net Neutrality and controlling big zones. So we're going to have a lot of pit fighting comps here for Gideon. I'm hoping to see more AoEs.
Is this a steel jungle?
Yeah.
I like
Quang
it.
solo, steel jungle.
I like it. We don't see a lot of steel jungles, but
some red zone steel jungle, man.
Heck yes! I cannot wait to see that happen.
I will make my bed, Zaria. Not right now.
Just not eventually.
I'm gonna get back into it tonight, so there's no point in making it.
But not really shockingly, we have the Zinx coming out for Net Neutrality, probably the second best support in the current meta after Muriel. Nothing really crazy there. I really want to see a red zone still just delete Revenant.
Yeah, red zone
steal. Ultium, and then he's dead.
and Richter. So that's Zinx support, Richter solo lane. So that's a Richter versus a Quang. We're gonna see a lane dominance here from Richter, I'm assuming. His scaling is better than Quang's, and his early game damage is absolutely insane pre-level 5. Yeah.
Most definitely. I mean, it's gonna be a back and forth lane. Richter's gonna have to respect a little bit of Quang's burst once he gets a few levels up, but that level 1 trade, Richter can really crush it.
And then we pick up Murdoch for Attic Wolves, or Attic Wolves picks up Murdoch, the pretty staple carry that we've seen in the past. He's very strong. He's got the shots fired. He's got the good range, good tower taker. So great sieger, something that Revenant on the other side of the map over for Net Neutrality is not very good at. Revenant's not very good at taking towers because of that capped attack speed, and then the 4 shots plus the reload, whereas Murdoch gets that extended shot where he can shoot the tower outside of the tower's range, and then also he has no capped attack speed. He has no reload mechanic. He has no nothing. So
most definitely. But like, look at these two teams. Who do you give edge to?
I don't know, man. Attic Wolves is pretty strong. I think Attic Wolves, especially with the Fae Amp Engineer, like we've seen currently, I think they can melt through both Richter and Rampage. Rampage being the hyper tank, and Richter being I would classify Richter as a hyper tank, but yeah,
He's
both
close.
tanks,
He's close at the
and
very
then
least.
two squishies in the Revenant and the Gideon.
I mean,
Zings
yeah,
is in between.
I like Attic Wolves as well. Like you said, that Faye is just so good right now, along with Muriel allowing Kwong and Steel that front line to extend the duration of those fights a little bit longer. Murdoch's going to do some work as long as he doesn't get put back too far by Revenant. I was talking with some friends, and we were saying, even if you're even with a Revenant, you're still behind a Revenant. You kind of have to take a little bit of dominance and get yourself ahead. But if he can do that, I definitely see this game going Attic Wolves' way.
Yeah, there's a huge pit fighting comp from Attic Wolves, to be honest with you. Net Neutrality has a great pit fighting comp, lots of lockdown, but Attic Wolves just punishes grouping severely with multiple seconds of stun and then multiple seconds of just AoE damage. So the Fae, Fly Trap into the Quang, Judgment of the Heavens, into the Steel, Shield Slam. Yeah.
I really want to see Revenant be proactive here. If they're not, they're going to get caught out by just the CC combo that is prevalent between Steel and Fae, at which point you get Steel ultied, you're going to get Steel bonked, and you should be dead by then if you've been hit by that combo mid-game as a carry. But with that said, we have the game up and running. We're both kind of giving slight edge to Attic Wolves, just team comp-wise. Let's jump on in and see what happens.
Yep, sure thing.
Half a second to make sure the team names are correct. We'll be back momentarily as we set up this replay, because I just had a crash. 1 second, guys. And we're back. Okay.
Welcome
Sorry
back,
about
everybody.
that.
Hello.
Booting up right now. Give me half a second, and we should be good to go. Paragon doesn't like being ignored. You tab to something else, and no.
I just try not to tab to other things.
Sadly, I'm bouncing between programs right now. But yeah,
full commitment.
Full commitment. Pulling out that ring already, Deli. I see. But yeah, we're talking about these team comps. I really want to see Revenant be proactive in these team fights, but at the same time, I want to see the same thing from Murdoch in the laning phase.
I want to see some red zone steel, man.
Yes. I cannot wait.
I want to see some red zone, or I want to see some glycerin dawn steel.
Why not both?
That's what I want.
Why not both?
Death crawler red zone steel, please.
Somebody. Oh yeah, that's.
Thank you.
OG. Sounds insane. Would love to watch that. But okay, yep, we are good to go now. Let's jump on over to the match. Again. Okay. Attic Wolves v Net Neutrality right here. We got a community tournament running. I'm at 10 seconds. Are you ready to go, Deli?
Yes, sir.
You ready? Okay. Let's start on up in 3, 2, 1. Hit it. Over on the left side of Attic Wolves, we have Flower Gun on that Muriel. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
I don't
yeah,
know,
I'm not reading.
We'll call him Muss.
Muss on that Kwong.
Good old Muss.
Rometal on the Murdoch carry. Optimus Prime here on the Steel. And Bees playing that mid lane Faye.
And over on the right-hand side, we do have Net Neutrality with Cranky Trash Can on Gideon. We have Acid Wolfpack on Richter. Airlorn Wolf on Zinx. Faded Ren on Rampage. And X Demonic on Rampage.
On Rampage? That's an interesting pick for a carry.
My bad. Oh my god.
I was going to say. Oh.
My eyes aren't working today. They're betraying me. Sorry guys, my monitor's off.
It is perfectly fine. But yeah, looking a few different setups here. Mid lane, we definitely tend to give that to Faye just in the Gideon v Faye setup. But right lane, we were talking previously. Who do you think takes this between Richter and Kwong?
Well, I mean, like, the Richter has the silence and the better scalings. So, I mean, I give it to Richter all you know, 9 out of 10 times. Richter just has to be proactive. He just has to have better minion management, and he has to be very liberal with the use of electrocute into the silence. Definitely keeps that Quang from using that extra armor to trade.
A lot of poking, a lot of trading across the map here. There's tons of aggression in this solo lane, as Acid Wolfpack is half-healthing Kwang in that slight trade. Beautiful to watch.
I mean, there it is. I mean, the electrocute, the silence, you got to keep him at bay so that he can't use Light of the Heavens to get that extra armor for 3 seconds, and he just chunks him down. Richter's got great scaling health through just levels alone.
Most definitely. So Deli?
Yes.
I want to see some epic Richter hooks here. Do you think Acid Wolfpack can present for us? Do you think he can give us what we want? Do you think he can deliver some presents for Christmas, if you know what I mean?
I trust, man. He's got to hit one like behind a fog wall type stuff.
It's gonna be spicy. It's gonna be
he's
like
hit
through a fog wall.
Range hook into his tower. Watch.
Into his tower?
Under his tower.
Okay. Yeah, that's one thing.
Under his tower and just max range hook.
I like it. But that's something you kind of have to watch out for as, like, if you're laning into someone with this hard reposition like Richter has, is that, like, them working around their tower. As we have a collapse in the jungle onto Optimus Prime. Cranky Trashcan and Faded Rend here just wailing on Steel. He tries to get that invis buff, but Cranky Trashcan does take it, and that should secure his fate. Oh, baby.
I mean, that's just Faded Rend and Cranky Trashcan communicating with each other, understanding that, you know, at the 3-minute mark in the game, river buffs are going to go up, and we saw Faded Rend go over to his green buff and then try to camp that right buff, the closest, safest buff to him. Whereas we saw Optimus Prime do the opposite, where he went towards his black buff and try to contest that buff, and that's where we saw the fighting that happened.
Tell you what, guys, we're having some frame rate issues, just Paragon in general launching here. I'm going to do a really quick reset before we get into the meat of this gameplay, and we'll be right back. I apologize for the problems.
Sure thing. Let me drop like 10.
Okay, I think we got that sorted out, and we should be ready to go. You ready to start back up? 15-15, my dude?
Yeah, 15 or 5-15. My bad, my bad.
5-15?
Ooh,
Okay, I was gonna say.
Not 15-15. Ooh.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it feels like we're a little farther ahead than I remember, but okay, I'll go with what you say. Let's, I'm at 5-15, you ready to go?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, hit it. But we do have, a lot of trading here in the mid lane. Faye doing what she's known for and just bullying the heck out of Cranky Trashcan. Oh, look at that frame rate, guys. It feels so much better. Just, there's so much pressure here in this mid lane. The pokes, the Harvest Nettles. This is why Faye is just extremely strong. The low cooldown times on that poke plus the ramping damage is
also
insane.
has that red buff as well. Every single time she pokes, she does an extra 20% damage on top of all of her abilities. Even though that's very little in the beginning, an extra 20 or 30 damage in the beginning early laning phases really forces either people to back or really consider their options here. And Cranky Trashcan not wanting to back, wanting to stay and farm a little bit.
Nearly getting first blooded under his tower. I mean, yeah, that is some great aggression showed by Bees in the mid lane. Understanding what their character can do and their ranges really gives you so many more options. But that said, baby, that was nasty. That was nasty.
Yeah,
that's the best way to put it.
Bees at the moment right now able to get a little bit more farm than Cranky Trashcan. Rend is soaking up that lane farm, giving vision to the other team right now, and he's gonna go down as well. He only has that level 1 ultimate, so it only lasts for like 8 seconds.
They're looking for a 2v1 mid, but Fader Rend is extremely low here. A lot of skirmishing as well over here. Bees over here chasing Faded Ren into the river, but picking up the invis buff instead decide to disengage as Acid Wolves over in the solo lane goes hard as well. More skirmishing in the left river as we speak. It looks like Gideon is going to nearly face check that Faye. Faye check. Haha. Optimus Prime going on Arlen Wolf. Arlen Wolf falling to Bees, who rotates in beautifully, and it looks like Damon will be the next to go due to the fly trap laid directly underneath of him. That was messy.
Hey, that's just, I mean, Bees was able to get the purple buff, the stealth buff, from Faded Ren, because Faded Ren went to use his ultimate, went into the enraged form to try to body block, but she used the bramble patch to sneak up under in between his feet and damage the buff just enough to sneak that out, granting her that extra 16% or 16 health or mana regen for 12 seconds. And allowing her to rotate unseen because there was only one ward in that river.
Yeah, the vision game here is actually moderately, it's fine for net neutrality, but our Attic Wolves got themselves de-warded at that river intersection, and that's really costing them a little bit, especially like you said in that last trade due to their lack of vision. A lot more positioning here. And pressure mid lane. But talking about these matchups, it looks like solo lane is going for Acid Wolfpack. He's winning positively for a fair amount of the times as Cranky gets half health in the mid lane. Baby, that is nasty.
I mean, you can't just run up against a lane bully like that. Faye, being the great lane bully that she is, gets a mana regen or mana refunded every single time she lands a Harvest Nettles on a hero. So she basically gets free poke, free easy damage that she's not going to be taking every single time that she has that ability off cooldown.
Optimus Prime and Faded Ren looking for simultaneous ganks here as Faded Ren walks directly into Bees, misses the rock at point blank range though. Gideon doesn't miss his a fair amount of chunking here, but Optimus Prime using that shield block to buy himself just enough time to move away. The ground pound slowing, and it's continued exchange here as Faded Ren decides to start disengaging. Dropping another rock. Faded Ren missing another rock here, and is going to get chased down by Optimus Prime. The shield slam does land, and that seals his fate. The fly trap used as well. They, like I say, overkill is the best type of kill.
I mean, better overkill than underkill, am I right?
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Bees
go ahead.
Bees has to be careful in lane right now. He doesn't have a lot of mana. There is still one river buff going up, and I believe Bees is going to grab that. Cranky has to either stay in lane and hope for the best for his mana regen to kick in and try to soak up as much farm as possible, or manipulate those back timers while Faye is away and grab full mana, full health, and get out of there. But also conversely miss farm as well. So you know, there are consequences in doing both. If he stays in lane, he can't trade as well.
Most definitely. I see that across the board here. In the solo lane, an extended trade from Wolf here, Acid Wolf, and Mus as well. Wolf getting chunked severely. As soon as Kwang gets that burst online, the basic scalings that Richter has tend to fall a little bit more towards the wayside. He doesn't have as much instantaneous damage, and that can be very intimidating walking up to a Kronk with that. As we have a gank into the left lane, Faded Rin moving up onto them, popping the ultimate very, very preemptively, hitting the rock though, following up that Zinx stun beautifully, and keeping Ron Metal in place. Faded Rin does kill Muriel in the meantime, who was trying to give peel for her carry, but just wasn't able to in time. Plenty of damage from that rampage. Sorry guys, brain's a little slow this morning.
Faded Ren, knowing that once he hits that enraged form, throws the rock toward the Murdoch, he's going to trust his team to get that kill, so he's going to zone away that Muriel and lock her down so that in the event that she comes to save him, she's going to give up her own life too, and that's exactly what we saw.
And Acid Wolfpack lazy backing over in that solo lane as Bees rotates in. Will they be able to take him? One more auto should end his life, but they're going under tower. Acid Wolf behind the tower now. Flytrap does miss as well. Bees has to be careful here because they are getting collapsed on. Faded Red hits the rock, and Bees should be falling here due to Cranky Trash Can rotating in as well. Yes, Bees goes down, but Acid Wolf gets taken out by the tether that Mus threw at them. Trade for a trade, not terrible.
I mean, a mid laner that's been kind of getting his way in lane versus a solo laner that's been pretty even throughout the most of the early game into the mid game phase. So I don't think that's necessarily a bad trade. It could be a worse trade, but they didn't really lose too much.
Well, they didn't lose too much. They hopefully will get Cranky a little bit farther ahead, a little bit more on even ground with Faye. And the way the solo lane was already shifting, Kwang was already taking the lead, so I am worried, now that he has the level advantage on top of a slight economic advantage, that he's going to start to run with that into Acid Wolfpack, but we'll see what happens.
Well, I mean, I don't believe that that's going to be that big of an issue because Faded Ren is closest to the solo lane. He is right there.
And it looks like Optimus Prime does steal the green buff in the jungle. He has been constantly jungle invading here, but he's getting collapsed on as well. Bees rotating in now. I'm not sure if the fly trap is online. Shield Slam does whiff as Acid Wolfpack rotates in, sticking onto Optimus Prime. As a little bit of division of focus here, they Faded Rin and Cranky start chasing down Bees, so not much is going to come of this in the end. Acid Wolf may end up getting caught out slightly. No, Bees does pick up the invis buff and is looking to chase or continue to invade.
Just scouting, making sure that no wards, just making sure that there's vision on, maximizing that buff timer as much as possible. So
no, Beast is going to be cheeky and try to steal black buff here, gaining vision for Optimus to move in as well. Hitting that slow onto Faded Rin. Faded Rin is just getting chunked in his own forest. The fly trap coming out, but it won't be, or the black hole won't be in time to keep Faded Rin alive. Beautiful black hole though. Cranky Trash Can moving out of the way. He's going to get poked down to nothingness in the meantime as the slow ends Demon as well. Arlen Wolf, the last survivor from net neutrality within this skirmish, will be falling as well. Can we talk about how low Optimus Prime got?
Can we talk about... Oh man, I have so many bugs on my screen, but can we talk about how well Row Metal and the communication there, understanding that, you know, right as the Gideon ult black hole came out and stunned both Bees and Optimus Prime, Row Metal from over there in the duo lane shot off his ultimate and finished off Faded Friend.
I mean, it's one of those things, just being present as a Murdoch doesn't mean that you have to be directly in the fight 24/7. You should be, or it's better for you to be a carry, but if you are slightly out, keep your eyes, watch your targets, and don't hesitate to snipe, because that is a huge damage boost. Like you said, it was able to end off Faded Rin there and allowed their team to then rotate and change focus onto the rest of the engagement there, because normally Faded Rin did have enough health and the black hole did land. Bees could have done a little bit of something, but you let a rampage regen at their jungle.
Can we pause and reset? I have a bunch of
let's go ahead and let's go ahead. You see dead people? Let's do a +10, -10. I'll meet you at 14:25.
Alrighty.
Let me know when you're good.
I'm here.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Alrighty, everybody's on screen doing their thing. Acid Wolfpack's got to be careful, man. I mean, like we said, he Muss is one level ahead on that Kwang. That means that's the difference between a tier 3 Light of the Heavens and a tier 4 Light of the Heavens.
But
tier 4 giving 100 basic armor and ability armor.
But we do have a gank
seconds.
coming in as Phaedron is moving in from behind. Muss very, very low on mana here. Acid Wolf disengaging, re-engaging. The rock landing, keeping him in place as the skewer continues the CC train. That is the death of a Kwang, ladies and gentlemen. Bees rotating directly into the Cranky Trash Can, who has red buff, so damage should be mean here. I think I have a replay bug on her health.
Yeah, I do too, but it's all
Fun,
good.
fun. It is what it is. Cranky Trash Can chasing down, missing the Void Breach. I believe would have sealed her fate.
Super close. Acid Wolfpack pushing down that tower, trying to free up as much lane as possible to get that 300. That will be the first tower, so he will get the 300 bonus gold if he chooses to take that tower successfully. Faded Ren just going in for an invade right now, but B is just scaring him off. There's a lot of posturing. There's a lot of invading.
Vaderin popping
Ren,
the ultimate, looking like he's wanting to go for a tower dive. The fly trap moving him back into the tower, buying a little bit more time for Faye to disengage. Looks like they're just going to be going for a T1 mid now. Optimus Prime in position to ulti if they get a little bit overconfident, but they will be disengaging very clean.
I mean, baited out that Faye fly trap beautifully. I mean, the enraged form from Rampage is a lot lower cooldown, especially after level 9, which is tier 2. A lot lower cooldown than the Faye fly trap. So right now, that beautiful trade, even though there's nothing, no
Arlen
kills,
Wolf
no
really caught out
economy
here.
came out of
Once
that.
again, the slow from Euro keeping them, just making them such an easy target for Road Metal to poke down. Optimus Prime coming in with a shield buck to end their life. Arlen Wolf being a little bit presumptuous there with their placement. No teammates around, moving up into neutral territory.
Optimus Prime just taking that black. He is camping that black buff, man.
He has got every single one of those that has spawned on net neutrality side of the jungle. I almost call it the forest. That is not the right term. But B is now rotating behind Acid Wolfpack, really focusing this solo lane and to get them ahead. Kwang actually moderately losing this trade, but since Bees is here, they're going to be going hard. 2 sources of damage plus the extra ability damage that Bees has. They missed the skewer onto Bees, and that should... that's the end of Acid. 3 are positioned over onto that solo lane to even up the health and probably shove down the tower.
Airlorn Wolf has to be very careful right here. Cranky is around the corner, but they do have vision on Cranky because of those minions in lane.
And it looks like it'll be a collapse as Cranky is moving in from the side. Metal being slightly too far up the black hole, keeping them in place as Demon just pokes him down. Even has time to casually reload. Muriel ulti does land though, buying a little bit more time, but it won't be enough. Flower Gun now just doing their best to get out of this fight alive. Cranky blinking away from that fight, leaving his carry a little bit out and dry. Damon got his Nikes on, juking it out, and that's a clean pickup. Though in his solo lane, it is being shoved down in a 2v1. Vaderin having to pop that ultimate while Dildo Bees blink rushes away, or not blitz rushes away, not blink rushes. Jeez, man. They're both tanking tower shots because they're trying to poke Vaderin down. The Quang ulti even gets popped.
no enraged form right now, but we see Cranky Trash Can coming in from behind.
Ren getting tower dive here, and Cranky Trash Can picking up 1 kill. Can he go for a second? Slowly, just edging down Mus's health bit by bit. The cooldown on his Cosmic Rift should be up soon, but he's not even going to use it. He doesn't even need to. Those auto attacks will be sealing the deal. Arlen Wolf being slightly too far up once again, going into the enemy jungle, but he does not get collapsed on fast enough.
I think Cranky's going to control this right river buff, whereas Optimus Prime and Road Metal control the left one. More effective for Cranky Trash Can, and I think
Optimus Prime going in on Arlen Wolf again, even using the shield slam and the shield bug. One more hit should seal her fate. Just Arlen Wolf has died twice, nearly 3 times in the same position. We need to have edge on more caution.
I mean, they have the wards there in that intersection. So I mean, like, they have those 2 beautiful, amazing wards here for Attic Wolves. So every single time Airlorn Wolf walks into that pit, they know where he is, or they know where he or she is, and they just proceed to fold exactly on that. Every single time Fangtooth is in danger of being contested or being taken, they rotate everybody out over. Net neutrality rotates the whole board on over and contests that.
Most definitely, but we have Bees going hard mid lane on Creek Trash Can, but Acid Wolfpack coming in for the rotation, for the gank. Will he hit the hook? The rock does miss. He's biding his time, waiting for the chance, but he face checks into Optimus Prime, gets chunked for half health nearly immediately. The fly trap keeping them in place for the shield slam, and Richter will go down. The enraged form is still thriving and regening health. Optimus Prime not afraid and looking to chase down this Rampage. Keep him in place for when that wears off. Rampage nearly going down as well, but Demonic being here, and you don't want to move up against the Zinx and a Rev when you're positioned like this. But the rock onto Optimus Prime. Vader moving slightly too far up, not really communicating with his team there, as Optimus Prime just goes for the tower dive, but gets the black hole onto Bees, and Optimus Prime buying time for his jungle to run the heck away.
Clutch plays from Cranky there.
Cranky has had some good holes, black holes.
Yeah, but he has to use his black hole defensively instead of offensively, and the one time we've seen it offensively, they got 2 picks, right? Using it defensively, I mean, that's a really long cooldown. It's like almost a 3-minute cooldown for Cranky. He's almost level 13 now, so it's only like a minute and a half, but it's still like a 90-second cooldown that, you know, is off the field. They can't contest a huge pit fighting a bottleneck like that in that prime and the Fangtooth bit. You just can't contest inside the rivers and small bottlenecks and choke points like that as efficiently without the ultimate.
Most definitely, it is a huge boon for your team in general, just having that extra stun. And if you layer that with a Richter that then positions for a skewer properly, you can really do some work. And having that no longer at your disposal, it's a nail in the proverbial coffin for the next team fight. But Bees going for the river buff here. Vaderman waiting for it with the green buff, moving and slapping Bees up bit by bit. Acid Wolfpack coming in, but the Cosmic Rift will be taking them out. That's a good pick there. Hopefully they're going to be forcing some objective. They're left and right lane.
Got some lanes here. Both of the side lanes are having a little bit of trouble. Even if they force down that T, or even if they force down a T2 or push it all the way to the doorstep of that T2, they have to. Well, you know what? Never mind. I'm going to cut myself short. They're going for a prime take. We're 20 minutes into the game, guys.
They're 20 minutes and they can do this, but
they have a pick, so.
Attic Wolves ready to respond as Optimus Prime is looking to go in, but he gets ultied by Revenant, keeping him out of the fight, stopping the shield slam from being a real playmaker. I did not see who got that Prime.
I heard the enemy got it, so I'm assuming
net neutrality.
Net neutrality.
Good on them. They were able to secure that in the end and disengage. Great ultimate from Demonic. It was defensive, but it kept the shield slam away from the rest of his team. I mean, you kept him out of the fight. He can't shield slam. They can't hard engage. It makes sense.
I mean, the shield slam, not only does it stun people, but it also is a pretty decent amount of, pretty decent amount of damage. So that also potentially could secure Prime as well, especially since over on net neutrality, there's only 2 Zetchins, and Zinx was on zoning duty.
Especially since the fact that Gideon no longer has Black Hole either. If there was a hard engage or a hard team fight there, they were at a disadvantage. But the 3-man rotation onto Optimus Prime, doing some work. The Black Hole is up at this point, and they just want to secure that kill. Move that playmaker off the field, look for another pick, and hopefully go for another objective. They still have Prime, but Acid Wolfpack being slightly too far up, and he is the one getting rotated on. Gets fly trapped, and Will Kwang uses ulti. Kwang's ulti does miss, but it will be nearly enough to take him out. Yes! Muss ends his life pretty quickly there. Vaderman moving now, body blocking both of them, but the blitz rush from Bees allowing them to reposition as Vaderman chases down Faye. Hopefully trying to end the fight, but it's a 1v3. I think he just realized it's a 1v3. He looked around for a second and said, guys, team, where you at? I'm fighting here. He's going in on Muriel now, trying to reduce a little bit, but it won't be enough. His support falling along with asking picked early really was troublesome. Demonic disengaged
saw
hard.
That he was the back line was separated from the rest of the time. Rest of the team, so he took that time to go into row metal and take that pick. And unfortunately, that left Faded Ren zoning out the other 3 members of Attic Wolves, and unfortunately got picked himself.
Yeah, sad. It's sad to see, but the Reckoning does go out onto Muss here. Not going to be chasing down, just wanting to keep this tower up from what I can see. Bees in the jungle of net neutrality being very aggressive. We've seen so much aggressive from Attic Wolves in this jungle. Optimus going in, Bees going in hard. And it looks like they're looking for something to happen here as they get River Buff. Can we take a second to reset wards? I say as Arlen Wolf face checks into Bees. The Blitz Rush buying just a little bit more movement once again. Great card in general. I love it to death. But I mean, Arlen Wolf face checking these fog walls time and time again without their team backing them up. It's troublesome.
Yeah, we could reset whenever, but Demonic, good try, buddy. But you know they've patched the obliterate through the walls months ago, so
doesn't
good
happen
try,
anymore.
Valiant effort.
Let's go ahead and fix some bugs. I'll meet you at 25:05.
Sure thing. I'm here.
3, 2, 1, go.
And we still Optimus Prime just camping this black buff every single time.
I mean, he has not missed one. I think he just lost his first one. I couldn't tell who got that. He got that? Okay.
I think he got it.
It doesn't show the buff on him on my end.
It doesn't. It flew towards him.
But the black hole onto Bees mid, immediately going into a pick. Metal and Optimus Prime here trying to make something happen. He gets shield bonked and moved slightly away. The Bugshot making that little bit of space that he needed, but he continues moving in as Optimus Prime is getting his 1v3 the rest of the team. The shield slam onto Faded Ren solely. A little bit of a misplay there as Cricky Trashcan goes onto the backline. They're chipping away at Optimus Prime. He does fall in the end. Metal goes down to Cranky Trashcan. It looks like Flower Gun will be the next to fall. Kwong being the only one to survive this exchange. I'm looking, they need to set their left lane, but I'm looking for a hard push mid into a T2 preferably.
I'm hoping Cranky, they're going to send Cranky on back because he's like that huge source of wave clear, but I think Acid Wolfpack's going to go for it while the other 4 push down and take the mobility away. Must just going for as much farm as possible and trying to take it a big of a lead. He knows that he's going to lose that T2, so he's just going to try to shove out that right wave.
I definitely see that. They're looking for an inhib now. They still have the player advantage as Faded Ren tanks these tower shots, wanting to keep those minions alive, I guess, inside of it, and they will get an inhib off of that play. Great trade for them.
I mean, that mid inhibitor, shortest lane, biggest after objective, a big objective taken like Fangtooth or Prime. That's the easiest lane to shove up because it's the shortest lane, and it's not the biggest lane to have,
but it's still
a disadvantage
impactful.
In, but it is extremely impactful on rotation times. It's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword. The enemy can use it effectively because it's the shortest lane, and because it's the shortest lane, you can use it effectively, and it's easier to defend because farm is just always going to be constantly ready, and it's the closest to both those side lanes. So rotation times for objectives and side lanes are going to be very quick as well.
Most definitely. Bees once again going very aggressive here. The spell shield keeping that rock at bay and buying them a little bit more time, using the slow defensively to make a little bit of space and getting out alive. Bees, that last fight definitely went for net neutrality into the inhib pick due to the aggressiveness that Cranky Trashcan showed, taking out Bees right away, and then they rotated into a fight. Great call. They forced it out, and they were able to get those picks.
Net neutrality is still alive, guys.
Net neutrality, not dead yet. But it's one of those things that it shows how impactful a singular entity of this playmaking team can be. If Optimus gets taken out, if Faye gets taken out, they lose a lot of their team fight potential here.
Yeah, especially since they both have 2 big AoE ultimates. The shield slam into the fly trap, or the converse fly trap into the shield slam. And then also Optimus Prime is the frontliner. Must also is the secondary frontliner, but we see Optimus Prime being 2 levels ahead. He's got the cards, he's got more health, he has that extra ability armor built in. He's a very good frontliner for the team.
And this looks like it might be 4v5 mid due to the grouping here as Faded Ren decides to engage. He misses the rock though and does get shield bonk chipped away piece by piece as Must moves a little bit too far up. Flower Gun as well getting poked down, but nothing coming of it. A moderate clean disengage, but the chain stun does land just in time. He's coming from the background, but the solo ulti with that black hole not going to be enough. The shield slam ending Cranky Trashcan as the mirror ulti onto Bees, keeping them alive. Demonic does go down as well, 2Bs. That Muriel ultimate really turned that back line fight. Steel blocking the turret.
They don't care. They're just gonna take the tower.
Should be
T1 at like 20-some minutes.
I mean,
27 minutes in. That T1's made of paper, dude.
Oh yeah, at least T2 here. Probably inhib into core. Not into core.
I mean, 30 seconds at least an inhibitor contest. Especially with the amount of wave clear that they have between the Fae and the Murdoch and the Quang.
Oh yeah, no, this should even up the wave pressure in that mid lane. Both teams having a super minion. Definitely a very great boon for Arctic Wolves. Definitely brings them a little bit farther back into this fight. And with the team play
Arctic Wolves.
What
are you
Attic
talking
Wolves.
about,
You're right.
Attic
You're right.
Wolves.
I messed up.
Attic Wolves is like
next level.
It's like the younger brother, you know? It's like the younger brother.
Nah, they were the OG.
Arctic
Wolves ripped them off, obviously.
Are you sure?
Yeah, obviously.
This is like the weekend and the weekday?
Yes.
They're good for a converse prime take, but they do have to deal with those lane minions. It's going to be very annoying, but at least Cranky is there to save the day with the amazing wave clear that he has, especially being that caster here. Lots of damage cards. He's got the Thaumaturge.
I mean, that prime is picked up in seconds. There's nothing. no real contestation there due to just the hard shove that happened.
Just one inhib. It could be worse. Well, I mean, we see some beautiful playmaking ultimates from Cranky, so I believe
they can come back here.
Net neutrality is not gonna die tonight, boys.
Nah, net neutrality got repealed. It's out of here. It's done. GG.
Get out of here.
4-15, boys. A little bit more positioning as well. They have that prime. I was hoping that they would immediately translate into a Fangtooth while there was still wave pressure, but they kind of cleared some jungle, set a wave, and now they're looking for the Fangtooth a little bit later, but they do have the composition and the lead to win another engage. They win an engage here, win the game at this point. Definitely looking for a pick because Bees had that invis.
Hey,
almost got me. They're going in for the Fangtooth now and starting to chip it away. Very least picking up a Fangtooth, at best taking a Fangtooth and winning a team fight. Net neutrality noticing that they can't really contest this and they just disengage, they give it over. They're not wanting to give that game-winning loss, the game-winning loss of a team fight. Because if they do go down, the respawn timers are now 80 seconds?
Yeah, it's like ridiculously long now. It's like 85 seconds or something like that. But I mean, on the other end, if you just give up the Fangtooth, you can still buy time for ultimates to come back online. You can just wait for the prime to run out, and you can wait for a more advantageous team fight to come out of it.
But it looks like Acid might be caught out in the jungle here. It does get slowed, and Faye is just chipping them apart with that Amp Engineer, I believe. Do they have Amp Engineer? Yes, obviously they're a Fae. Why wouldn't they bring
that's Amp on the Fae. What's Shadow Dancer?
I like the Shadow Dancer.
What a rugged build.
That is
a sneaky build.
Definitely spicy. It's a spicy build if I've ever seen
Rometal completely out by himself right now, so Cranky just
I don't think Net Neutrality has the confidence. That rock nearly
That rock was
landed.
close. If that rock hit, Net Neutrality would have gotten an awesome...
Would have collapsed.
Yeah.
I think there was a little bit of a lack of certainty here. They didn't have full vision on the Attic Wolves. They had some, but they didn't have everything, and they didn't want to once again give picks and lose another inhibitor, because at this point that would probably be game. Optimus Prime just shaking off that Cosmic Rift. They're looking for a tower dive here as Faded Ren starts smacking on Musk back and forth, back and forth. Cranky Trashcan moving in on this side, dropping some rocks while Rometal's trying to zone them out, but it's slightly too far up. There's no collapse on that carry for Bogan overextended, though.
Oh
as
my
Beast
God.
is invis, the 3-man fly trap ends Damon the Shield Stun, keeping Arlon Wolf in place as Kwang comes up for the style points with his ultimate.
Cranky just saying, I don't want any of that business. I'm gonna tend to my farm over here. Faded Ren has no enraged form. It's down for 45 seconds. So for the next almost minute, they are going to, or Faded Ren is going to have to play a little bit more cautiously, especially with Bees having Amplification Engineer chipping away every single time she uses an ability.
Most definitely. That 12% current health is very, very large. It's a little strong, a little overtuned in my opinion, but it does work. Does land the rock, though, onto Flower Gun, is going to be engaging, but it is a 2v1 with a Muriel here. I question that fight. The rest of Net Neutrality, a little bit more zoning can happen here. They have Acid Wolf back up. Can Trash Can still up for the wave clear. Dropping some rocks onto the back lane as Bees gets rocked once again, but there isn't much follow-up just due to the wave pressure and positioning of Net Neutrality.
Yeah, I mean, Net Neutrality's carries back up. 4 ultimates are up, almost 5 for up for Net Neutrality, whereas actually, yeah, 4 are up for Attic Wolves around the same time too. So right now, Attic Wolves is going to reset, grab another advantage, grab more power, and then just kind of go for a push again. Prime's going to be up the next 2-3 minutes. So if the game goes on that long, that's just another Prime that they could potentially
this is
grab as well.
Fourth Fang Tooth.
They gets the third.
I could have sworn.
Either way, they have extra power.
Tons of power, tons of extra utility from
either
that
12 or 20 extra power given. They have the damage to structures, and they have the 10% bonus movement speed outside of combat. So right now their rotation speeds are going to be extremely high. Their damage is going to be through the roof, especially with Faye having like 3-0 scaling on her abilities. That extra 20 damage does a lot in the long run.
60 specifically. I can math. Are you proud of me, Deli?
Yes, I am actually.
Yay. I'm an engineer. But oh, the Whiff Rock once again. Faded going for a little bit of a Kobe there as Bees Invis. That Showdance are doing work, moving towards the backline. Starting to chip down on Wolfpack. Just prepare for this engagement. Going back to the split push, it is a 4v5 under this inhibitor, which is even more detrimental. The CC, very, very apparent onto Optimus Prime, but they're so tanky. Is there really anything that can be done here? The Fly Trap, move to Rin back in, the Shield Slam onto Arlon Wolf and Acid Wolf as Faded Rin tries to zone a little bit more, but it won't be enough to keep Arlon Wolf alive due to the Muriel ultimate. Optimus Prime getting very, very low here, but Muriel just showing her utility. The 3-man black hole, 4-man black hole, hitting the invisible P's under inhibitor. Oh, that was dirty. Team ignoring.
Saves the day.
Oh yeah, team ignoring Muscle a little bit. There was a great rock that could have collapsed extremely easily, but they do anyways. Going for a little bit of a chase here, but that was a great turn of events there.
Yeah, Cranky just gonna reset and clear the waves. Acid Wolf and Demonic's just gonna shove down that mid wave. Flower Gun and Optimus Prime over on Attic Wolves just is forced to reset at the moment right now. They can't really contest with 2. Optimus Prime, as tanky as he is, he doesn't do damage. Especially since Road Metal is off the field. My replay's bugged, but Faded Ren pushing out that left wave as much as possible. He still has that inhibitor in that left-hand lane, so he still has the ability to set it. So Ren is just pushing it out as far as possible, extending a lead as much as possible. So yeah, doing the most with the least.
Well, they definitely need to keep the pressure up here because they're going to lose pressure in both their other lanes. I would like to see more force shoving of that right lane just to help set it for the rest, but I understand what's going on. Is Demonic almost in range for the Reckoning onto Muriel, but won't be able to hit it up in time.
There's ultimates up for Faded Ren, so he has the enraged form. He can take after take this T2 engage as well. The rock will be off cooldown here shortly, so we'll see what happens, but everybody will be on up for Attic Wolves, so it's going to be very dangerous for Net Neutrality to stay this far up, especially without help.
As Acid Wolf and Optimus Prime are just exchanging, man, Optimus Prime having so much health. He is a beefy boy currently. Let's look at his build for a second. Running Unbroken Spirit, Vengeful Mire, and Arcane Dancer. I love the Arcane Dancer. It's not something we see a ton of. I questioned a little bit into this composition, just the ability damage here not being extremely huge. As we have a collapse onto Fangtooth as we speak. Faye doing work with that Fly Trap, ending Arlen Wolf and just...
of ability damage being huge.
Well, I mean, on the enemy team, there's no ability damage on Net Neutrality. Not very much, just Giddy in there, but Arcane Dancer can still do some great work. Dodo Beast just getting run down by Faded Ren. The rock landing as well as Demonic falls to backline somewhere along the way. Dodo Beast just running for their life. Faded Ren now. I've noticed Faded Ren is going very, very hard, but I don't see proper follow-up or positioning for it. Plus, there seems to be a lack of peel for that backline in and of itself. and having your Rampage being a little bit more conscientious of the squishies around him can tend to help slightly more. Because what I'm seeing, Rampage is going very, very hard, but he's not... His team then gets collapsed on. People just run around him. And then continue to fight.
Like I said, those bottleneck ultimates that shield slam into the fly trap. Every single time we see a fly trap come out from the Fae, they're usually either A, splits the team in half for net neutrality, or B, just absolutely deletes a couple members on the team, so which conversely puts point A back on the board, right? Splits the team in half. Faded Ren's fighting the back line or fighting a certain hero, and that hero is kiting away from the rest of the team, and then Faded Ren, next thing you know, is stuck out away from the rest of the team, and then the rest of the team gets picked. Cranky, unfortunately, has beautiful ultimates, but cannot be followed up on because either A, lack of players, or B, there's a split team, so...
I mean, a little bit of tunnel vision, from what I would say. From Faded Rend, as we were talking about, they're going to be grouping for another inhib here. This time, probably they'll be watching out for Cranky Trashcan's ultimate, but he is not here presently, rotating in as we speak. Looking for the pick on the inhib as Faded Rend pops the Enrage and gets immediately chunked for a quarter of his health. Baby, that is some damage. Faded Ren to half health now, still trying to regen through all of it, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. Both teams frontlining moderately hard. Demonic chipping away at Optimus Prime. A lot of positioning, a lot of moving around, looking for picks onto each other's teams. Optimus Prime taking some tower shots here without that shield out. Muriel's shield now in play as they're trying to take something out onto Astral, possibly. Must just moving in on that inhib, doing some damage, but he does get stunned moderately hard, forcing out the Muriel ulti into the black hole once again. Mistake made, 2 out of 2 attempts, but the shield slam and reciprocation from Optimus buying a little bit more time and allowing them to get 2 picks for their team themselves. Rometal still in this game as he does get ultied by, or was Bees? No, Rometal did get ultied by Revenant. Bees taking out Cranky Trashcan. Yep, and that is going to be damning.
Yeah, the Cranky, beautiful ultimate, but unfortunately caught, or did not catch, Bees, which is playing the Fae on the outside or inside that ultimate. So Bees was able to counteract Cranky's ultimate by using the fly trap just in the nick of time, and then of course bring in multiple heroes. As soon as everybody went to fold in on Cranky's ultimate black hole, the fly trap came out, trapped 3 people, and the shield slam came out right after that, and then that's what we have here. That's all that Attic Wolves wrote.
I mean, I will mention we have a Domain of Stillness out here from Flower Gun. Didn't really see him play much with these Gideon ultimates. A little bit slightly more awareness could have saved them one of those team fights as well. But it's a very good card if you're playing to someone like Gideon, if you're playing to someone like Aurora. Just worth mentioning. You see anything else worth mentioning?
Not necessarily. Everything is kind of pretty static. Although Muss is running Sorvik Initiative, which we don't really see that often, but I do appreciate every single time I see it. Basically able to give somebody aids. B's running Shadow Dancer with Amp Engineer. Mostly we see Amp Engineer into a little bit more damaging cards, where a Shadow Dancer gives you armor, gives you a little bit of power, but also gives the ability to stealth yourself and give you movement speed. So that's not something we see every single day on a mid lane caster, especially somebody as squishy as the Fae.
But with someone like a big playmaker with that large AoE ultimate, I think it's a great card to use. We saw multiple picks being taken because of it, and a lot of positioning and scouting done as well. Moving on, talking MVPs, dude. Who you got?
MVPs? Fae. Yeah, Bees came in clutch, man. I mean, he really did, dude. Like, every single time there was an ultimate, something crazy happened. Like I said earlier, either split the team or took members off the map. And that just really helped Attic Wolves.
I see that. Most definitely. I think that was a huge playmaking part of it too. But I'm going to give mine to Optimus. I respect the steal. Definitely, and being able to perform well in this type of situation, plus the constant jungle invades and pressure onto that black buff, pressure across the map, and late game, the front line and zoning that was done was very, very solid. I tip my hat to that, and also B's great job across the board with those ultis as well. But that was a heck of a game. Attic Wolves will be moving on to the next round of the tournament. And speaking of the next round, we should be hitting that up momentarily. We'll be right back.